What is Steven Universe? What is this? Explain to me what this is and why people are so passionate about it.
It doesn't even matter.
It doesn't matter. It's not a good show because it's not as engaging or funny or memorable as like a lot of the classic, all the modern classic Cartoon Network roster.
Why are people so passionate about it? Is what I'm
because it has good social politics.
It has a good representation.
Like what? It's got black people in it and like gay people.
It's got black people. It's got non-binary people. Yeah. It's got two people who combine into one person, which is a thing that I guess we need represented.
Well, Dragon Ball Z is like one of the most fucking progressive cartoons out there then, because
yeah, I know, exactly.
Fusion has been around, you know, since like 1998. I'm just saying, it's kind of an old technique there, Steven Universe.
As far as like other shows that are also progressive, there's like much better like shows that are progressive.
So much.
But what shows are progressive consciously? In this sort of way.
See, that's the thing,
good.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
When you're consciously being progressive, it's not as good. And
there are
that's
loads
what
of
Steven
stuff
Universe
that I watched and I'm like Broad City was like cool for like the first season or two. And then when they started doing the woke stuff, it really affected like, it was as if the characters were sort of just like mouthpieces for woke talking points rather than comedy. And that tends to happen.
It's awful.
It's the worst possible thing because it just never comes across as natural at all.
No, and what they're trying to do ends up the exact opposite happens. You just create a big reactionary hate following for it, and they sit around and they get all cemented in their awful positions that are usually pretty bigoted. I'm not going to say that they're not, but they sit around and they watch this awful show. And they're like, well, I guess I hate those people, too, because they like this show. And as we all know, what we consume is entirely how we identify ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, I think a good example of like a show that has, I guess, those progressive values but doesn't kind of do it in a way that's super in your face or whatever would be something like Adventure Time, where it has got an underlying
for sure.
You know, relationship between two of the main characters that is a main cause of like tension and release across many different story arcs throughout all of the seasons.
It's like a real story.
Yeah, exactly.
It's done in a way that like makes sense character-wise, and it's not like a thing that they like Dumbledore that they slap on at the end to be like yeah, by the way,
the only way they could have been done it worse with Dumbledore is if at some point in the actual movies, like somebody just like they're doing a scene where there's a lot of other things going on, and somebody just turns to Dumbledore and goes, "Are you gay?" And he's like, "Mm-hmm."
No, it's just like this.
That would be the only way it would be worse.
There's a deleted scene from The Philosopher's Stone that just is shot for shot almost remake of like that bit from The Shining, but instead of a guy in a bear costume, it's Dumbledore just coming up from some guy's lap and then turning into the camera.
By the way, I'm Dumbledore, the gay wizard. Hi everybody, it's me, Dumbledore, the gay wizard.
Just zooms on in his face really slowly, menacingly, just eventually like, yes, I'm gay.
Welcome to Hogwarts, Harry Potter.
Oh dear, you guys.
That's how he introduces himself the first time.
J.K. Rowling on Twitter thought that Stephen King was like showing support for her because he retweeted one of her tweets, and then when Stephen King went on to tweet that trans women are women, she blocked him.
Oh wow, I didn't. When did this
she's
happen?
really not made things easy on herself.
Oh dear. What about this Steven? So why did they say that they should kill themselves in Steven Universe? Because they made somebody skinny. Like, I'm confused.
Oh, they drew a fat character skinny.
Okay, so there's a fat character. That's that, and usually who cosplays her is also a fat person, and I guess someone drew her thin.
Okay.
And this enraged.
It was like a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
Oh
like
my God.
Drew her thin, like some kid.
16-year-old drew her thin, and they basically said it was fat erasure.
Damn.
And
Tumblr organized around destroying a single person
It's
because,
dumb.
as you know, collectivization works.
I mean, I'm not someone that likes Steven Universe, but like, I also know that making cartoons is a very delicate art and a very delicate balance. And when you've got something that does work, and a lot of people do like, to try and do stuff to upset the apple cart and maybe make people get upset about a character or revoice a character and all these kinds of things can massively change like the quality of that show.
You know the musical Avenue Q? Remember Avenue
Yes.
Q when that was like a thing back
Yeah,
then?
the very controversial edgelord musical Avenue Q.
Like that's the thing is like I feel like people are being somewhat anachronistic in what's going on now, because if a musical like that was to be put back on Broadway today or go to the West End today, people would lose their fucking minds.
That was in that series we watched.
What series was it?
Pretty Lies,
Big Little Lies.
Big Little Lies.
Yeah, that show Big Little Lies. The town was putting on Avenue Q. It was this whole story arc. Yeah, Reese Witherspoon was trying to put on Avenue Q in her town, basically, and all the people in the town were like, "That musical's problematic." And then it turned into this whole like free speech debate in this show, and I was like, because I forgot about Avenue Q until one of the songs just like came into my head while I was in the shower. And then I was like, shit, I used to love that. I used to think it was the funniest shit ever. Like I used to think that it was hilarious or whatever. I went to see it, like all of these different things. And I just realized now that like something like that could never
What was the song?
It's like,
what was it about?
like everyone's a little bit racist sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't mean we go around committing hate crimes. Like it was just that, like the whole point of the song was that everyone
But everybody is not racist, except for they are racist, except for they're not. Don't.
yeah, just like weird shit.
I'm just saying, like the contention that I can envision that song getting now,
But even
would just be like all over the place.
But even then, so Avenue Q would never be like there would be a big debate about that song and the validity of it, even though it's just a silly musical. And then there's also the fact that and it also had gay characters in it as well. But I don't know, it was confusing. I'd have to watch it again to have a take on it. Maybe I could like make a video about it or something. But then there's also Boondocks, which I love. And Boondocks, it was one of the...
Which is very problematic.
No, but it was one of the earliest criticisms of liberalism that I saw.
Oh, I know. And I totally agree. I love Boondocks. I have
Same.
not watched the entire series, but I watched like the first and second season of it when it was on TV. And it is absolutely a criticism of neoliberalism. I didn't
Like
realize it at the time.
The Obama episode, because you know Huey,
Yeah.
the Huey character, Huey's like a black radical. He's like a Marxist, basically. He has like a Che Guevara poster in his room. And he wasn't happy about the fact that Obama won the presidency, even though all his black friends and relatives, and he was also felt alienated from pop culture because there was that song Dick Riding Obama. Like there was this whole like he felt alienated not just from pop culture. Like the whole thing is his arc, and then they got Werner Herzog to voice it because it was like a documentary following Huey. It was hilarious. I love that episode. But yeah, like he felt alienated from not just the other black people around him, but his whole family, because he saw the political ramifications of this form of representation, quote unquote, before it actually happened. Not just that episode, like so many of the episodes of Boondocks not only critique liberalism, but also just critique black culture, black American culture in this really sort of apt way. Like the Martin Luther King episode where Martin Luther King comes back. Like look, there's so many different episodes, and I feel like that's like black entertainment made by black people that isn't just, oh my god, aren't we magic, aren't we special, like
and you know what, that's what sucks about Steven Universe. To go back to that, the tone of the show is, oh my god, we're magical.
Who's magical?
We're great.
Who's magical though?
I've always really hated that. Like, I hate that kind of talk. Like, even when we're talking about stuff like when people are like with stretch marks, like they're your tiger stripes that you won. It's like, fuck off. It's just so.
It's a thing.
I hate the forced positivity, like the forced. You're magical. You're a unicorn.
Here's the thing: whatever you like, cool, that's fine. But like, not everybody has to sit around and fucking like, you know, take suppositories for it. Like